And I wanted to get your thoughts on just the changes that the Lions have made in terms of bringing in new hires from the collegiate level with Tyler Roll and Tashard Choice. Obviously, we've talked on the coordinators, and then some new intriguing names, just kind of balancing out the entire staff. Some moves like Scotty Montgomery, the wide receiver. So, what's your initial impression of the Lions 2025 coaching staff, and where do you think this group has grown, and what do you think is on tap for them in 2025?
Yeah, it's a lot of new assistants, right? And it's going to definitely lend to some, a little bit of concern regarding how fast everybody's going to acclimate to potential changes, new voices in the room. I'm definitely intrigued by David Shaw. I think his vast experience that he brings to the table, coaching collegiately, also working with the Broncos. I think that the tie that will definitely help the offense is the relationship that he has with John Morton. They can see the game the same way. They can bounce ideas off each other. And the idea is to build a well-rounded offense. I think that the opportunity to have a different experienced voice in the room, definitely, I think, in addition. And you realize that with Scotty Montgomery and Hank Fraley there's some experience that is going to be welcomed by an offense that can definitely, I think, be infused with new ideas, different ways of tackling similar questions. And I think that that's also, every 3, 4 years, it's not a bad idea to just get a different voice in the room. And I think that the one thing I'm intrigued by is how Scotty Montgomery is going to work with Jamison Williams, how that relationship will develop, because I think that one of the key factors, and probably the biggest factor, is how Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams evolve. And I'm curious to see, I think that Tashard Choice will be a very, very underrated hire that I think will help Jahmyr Gibbs get to the next level. The comfort level of someone that knew what it would take to get Jahmyr Gibbs to Georgia Tech and help him get coached up and to know somebody already that kind of has the foundational pieces. And also, too, Scotty Montgomery will be part of the meeting room. So I do think that coming in, Scotty Montgomery will impart as much knowledge on Tashard Choice as possible. And I think that what's interesting and intriguing is that when you overhaul a coaching staff, there's still some value in working with big programs, working with Texas, working with Stanford. I think that the idea is that Dan Campbell likes experienced coaches that have played before and can relate to the players. So I think each hire was crafted to help the players relate faster. So I'm not terribly concerned. I think defensively, I'm curious to see how, Sean Dion Hamilton's role will continue to evolve with the linebackers, some of the moves defensively. I think that, an underrated person already on the staff that I think is on the track of development as well as Deshae Townsend. I think that his work with the Lions defense and secondary is going to be key. Jim O'Brien with the safeties, give him a lot of credit with the defensive backs, and his defensive prowess has helped this defense. So Kelvin Shepard, I think, has a lot of experience with now this defense and the players, so he's going to have a firm understanding of what's going on. I think that's fair in regards to maintaining a continuous working relationship with the defense, especially with some changes that are going to happen along the defensive line. And I think for the defense, the development of some of those young players is going to be very key to get those guys coached up. And so the hire that everybody's going to probably get to know fast and I think will pay dividends is Casey Rogers. I think that hire is going to pay dividends for Broderick Martin, Makai Wingo, and then the returning Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil, and hopefully some big name free agents will be definitely involved in the mix. So I think the coaching staff set. Dan Campbell, I think, has earned the reputation of pretty much targeting coaches that relate to players well. And if there are mistakes, then Dan Campbell is not hesitant to move on, a la Dre Bly. Just didn't work out after a year. And, the defensive line hopefully can have some continuity with the coaching staff as they keep turning it over.